to the TForce podcast. Yo, it's that TForce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pone ain't drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message at the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi-Pone Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try and force in some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Hey guys, welcome to Trinity Force Podcast. My name is Adam Ponophobia Cogswell. You are listening to episode number 324. We are joined by a great group of guys this week. Sean is here.
Hey, oh my god, I'm first. It's a
Yay,
miracle.
you're first this week. I know, I can't keep it going. I just kind of start from right to left. And
You took me by
so
surprise
lovable.
on that one. It was great.
Womp womp.
Brad Punchinello is here.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, Brad. And this week's special guest, as we continue the community podcast series, is Leshok from the Trinity Force Network RPG.
Hi, everybody.
It's kind of like a lame name, honestly. We need a better name for it. We need, like... I wish Drunken Dragons wasn't taken, because we would just call it that, but it's pretty
All
obvious.
the good names are taken.
Yeah.
Well, it's the Trinity Force Network tabletop RPG section. You guys can find us over at trinityforcenetwork.com. Leshok is the head of that part of the network, as well as the head GM over there, or DM, excuse me. Dungeon Master,
Interchangeable.
Game Master.
Yeah, they both work.
We're going to be talking to Leshok tonight about tabletop gaming and RPG and why you should join the Trinity Force Network's tabletop section and where you can find him playing games not only on the internet but also at live events. Speaking of live events, it is January. We are gearing up for PAX East. We will be out there and we will be doing a... So I'm going to give you guys kind of like a short rundown of what we're going to be doing, and we'll have like the final... word on it probably the end of February. So right now it's looking like we're going to be doing a charity event for MS that Thursday night before PAX starts, and then we will be in PAX on the floor, hopefully, cross your fingers, with a booth, working hard there. We'll be also doing other games. We'll be going around doing interviews with all the developers, and we'll be launching actually at the end of this month, early February, our general gaming section of the Trinity Force Network. Now, it's not going to be anything like super involved with that general gaming portion of it, but we're going to try to go to like the major events and get, developer news and whatnot as we kind of develop it. But I'm sending Cereal Box and Kargan, who you may know from Kargan is one of our shoutcasters and also Battle Arena aficionados. They will be going down to PAX South in Texas to interview a bunch of game developers and put those up on YouTube and put those on the website as well. If you haven't checked out trinityforcenetwork.com, please go check it out now, because we have fixed all the loading times, as well as 1.5 is coming out here in the next couple of weeks that'll have better titles, and then we're gonna like kind of fix it again. It's kind of like an ever evolving thing where we're gonna add the features people are asking for and then go back to the drawing board each time to make it better and better as we go forward. So that's with that. We're gonna do some mid-roll ads in the middle of this because we have some more stuff to talk about. Before we get there, I have one more announcement that I've been leading up to. At the end of this community podcast series, the reason we've been doing this the entire time isn't only because we want to spotlight all the people inside the League of Legends community as well as podcast community. It's that DeClaude and myself have been contacted by Riot Games, and we are being flown out to California in 2 weeks, and we're going to be appearing on their community podcast together to talk about DeClaude, talk about the Trinity Force Network, talk about podcasting, talk about his battle with MS and playing games. So we will be on the official Riot community podcast, and you'll be able to get that probably in the first couple weeks of February. So that's really cool. That's going to be
Hooray!
awesome. Yes.
Yeah, it was really exciting news when we first heard about it.
It's amazing.
It was
And it's still
really hard not
exciting.
talking
We just had a
about
lot.
it.
Yeah, we just had a long time to build up to it.
Yeah, we had to. I had to make sure that all of the all of the ducks were in a row, because they had offered for us to go right before, it was before Christmas. I think it was like mid-December or something when DeClaude had left, and we contacted Riot, and they said, well, we can't do anything specifically, but why don't you guys come out here with us and get on the podcast and we'll talk about all that stuff. And I was like, you know what, that's great, that's awesome, let's get out there and go check out the studio. We'll also be at the LCS that weekend, so if you are out in California, we will be at the LCS on the 23rd, which is a Saturday, January 23rd. We'll be out there, we'll hang out with you guys, shake some hands, whatever. I mean, even if I only meet one or two of you, I'm happy to come out there and and say hi, and come and say hi to Claude and support him and whatnot too, because he'll be walking around with his. You can see the DeClaude hand. Like, who doesn't want to see that? You can shake.
You can shake the DeClaude hand. Yeah.
For those on podcast, on the shock is making faces and like
I am cringing.
Cringing.
Visibly.
So will you be cheering for TSM?
no. I'm trying to. I emailed. I've been talking to Andy Belford, who is the host of the community podcast over there, and I said, "Hey, can we go backstage during that time and like get interviews and stuff?" He's like, "I'll see what I can do," and I just kind of laugh because like I'll just email my coordinator at Riot and get backstage passes for that day, and like, "Hey guys, I got backstage passes." No, I'm not going to do that, but I just thought it was funny that he was like, "Oh, I don't know. We'll see what we can do." It just made me laugh. But I'm sure we'll be able to talk to some people and kind of go around and at least check out the stuff because we are Riot's guests for that weekend where we'll be able to check out some things. So hopefully we'll have some really good content for you. I know DeClaude and I will be putting together a podcast that weekend, not only a community podcast, but we're going to be recording in our room at like the end of the night on that Friday night and just kind of give you guys a rundown of how the podcast was, what it was like to do it in the studio, what Santa Monica is like, all the stuff that you would want to hear about our trip out there. Anything we can actually talk about, I don't know. If they'll make us sign like an NDA or something as we walk through the studio, but we'll talk about what we can without breaking anything. So that'll be fun. Yeah, that's the big announcement that we've been leading up to for the community series. Sorry, Leshok, you'll get in here and talk here in a second. I swear to God. For the community series, we have a Patreon on Wednesday, and if you're looking for patch 6.1 rundown, that'll be out Monday. It'll either about late Sunday night or Monday because we are going to be recording this weekend to get that out for you since they all hit today anyway. And then we will be having Amanda on from the analyst desk. And then after that, I think I need to line up one more guest. I was talking to someone from Mind Games GG about coming on to kind of like round out the series before the community podcast hits. But that's it. So there we go. Let's talk about TForce RPG. Leshok, I'm putting you on the spot right now. Tell me what TForce RPG is and why the fuck I'd want to bring you on this podcast in the first place.
Well, TForce RPG is literally just started from a bunch of us that I was like, hey, who wants to play Dungeons and Dragons? And it turns out it was a lot of people, an overwhelming number of people. I was running 3 games a week and going insane. But really, it's just a collection of us all that are passionate and enjoy tabletop role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, Star Wars, all sorts of them. And why you have me on here? Because I'm absorbing an awful lot of your community into a sub-portion of your community. And I have a lot of your podcasters on my podcast through you. I mean, what? Chira's on. He plays every Tuesday. We got Kargan. We've got Mott. We've got Haberdashing. Crazy Phil. Yeah. But really, why is it? Because for those who haven't played, the largest thing that we hear all the time from people is, I've always wanted to try something like Dungeons and Dragons, but I've never done it before. Never had a group. Hard to find people locally. I don't know how to play, how to get into it. And we just threw this all together, and it's just a lot of fun and easier to pick up than most people think, honestly.
What makes this difference is what I like about this. I've been playing with Rex, and we've been doing Rex and Dragons, and sadly we've only been able to play a couple sessions because of holidays and whatnot, but the few sessions we've been able to play together, and Mary, my fiance, she's been playing as well and enjoying it quite a bit.
Hashtag bodily mass, I believe, is your guys' game slogan.
Yeah, well, one day one of the guys shot like a frost ray, and then it froze like 3 or 4 people together, and then there was this giant bodily mass that we had to walk up and over to kill the people behind it. And of course, there's like, you have to add to the roll to be able to get up and over the bodily mass to be able to get to the next guys behind it.
D&D stories are the best.
Yeah. Right, because you can't get this sort of nonsense in a literally rules scripted video game where there's an engine defining everything that can happen. When you're playing tabletop RPGs, you can literally do whatever the imagination calls for.
And how lucky you get with dice rolls.
Of course. Or unlucky.
Yeah, sometimes being horribly unlucky is just as fun. For, the other people, maybe not for you.
I think this entire podcast could be filled with stories because, like, last week I did a crit roll or crit failure, whatever. I don't know. I rolled a 1, right? And so no modifier is going to help you when you roll a 1 just because of the rules of the game. And of course, the guys Leshok will be able to tell you more about it than I will. But rolled a 1. Swung my sword. I'm a paladin, so I get +5 to my attack roll. I do 10 damage to our halfling who's standing right next to me and basically cave his head in. So I pick him up because he's like 3 foot tall, and I start caressing him, and I sing into the microphone. I'm like, hush, little baby. I use lay on hands on him to heal him, and I'm singing to him as I'm holding him and cradling him, and he's just kind of looking at me like, what the fuck? But that's
What
the type of shit
alignment
you can
is
do.
your paladin?
He's good. He's neutral good.
Neutral good loving from the sounds of it.
Yeah, so I picked him up and I caressed him and I sang him a song and I laid on hands for 10 life.
I mean, one of my personal favorite in the forms of stories is a great quote that Chira used in the very first episode that we recorded of It's a Long Story, our Pathfinder gaming podcast, where he said, we have this written down, and I quote, "If you don't put your weapons down right now and relax and give up kindly, I'll be forced to tear out your intestines and jump rope with them, and there's nothing you can do about it."
See, and I came up with that, and somebody said they'd heard that, like a line like that somewhere else. I have no idea where, so if I stole that from somewhere, I apologize. But it was befitting the situation, and it worked. So whatever you got to do to make moves in your tabletop RPG, you can say and do whatever you want. And if you get lucky with the rolls, it actually happens.
Because the whole framework of this is that it's a narrative story. You can say what you're doing. You play your part of a character, but they have a little rule system in place to determine if something can succeed or fail, so that way it doesn't turn into a, "Nuh-uh, I have a force field. Well, I have a laser that shoots through force fields," arguments like when you were 5. And normally for most systems, it's using a dice with 20 sides, the infamous D20. And most game systems like Dungeons & Dragons or Pathfinder, if you roll a 20, automatic success, critical, something amazing or weird's going to happen.
Yeah, things couldn't have gone better.
And if you get a 1, well, you're a total fuck up, and things are not looking good for you. And as far as stories and people having extraordinary bad luck, when we first started playing, Kargan, one of our shoutcasters here in the network, was so infamous for rolling natural ones. We had a contest one night to see who could guess the number of nat ones he rolled in the evening, and the winner was a member of the RPG group Blackhawk, and he guessed correctly in 3.
Wow, that's a lot of natural ones in one night.
But you could also, you could hit a crit and Michael Jordan slam an ogre out of the air that's trying to fly away, which
Oh yeah,
has
that was
happened
true.
in the past too.
Well, let's talk about this from people because a lot of the reason we have you on, the reason we do this tabletop RPG is because a lot of us are playing League of Legends, and it's like our only game we play. But we want other outlets. I mean, I know there's Hearthstone. We have the Hearthstone podcast. There's Heroes of the Storm. There's whatever MOBA you want to play. But I think at heart we're all giant nerds at heart. We all have seen Dungeons & Dragons. We all have played those RPGs. We've all grown up on WoW, and we've heard about Dungeons & Dragons. And now, for me, when I first played this game, I want to say it was probably 10 years ago at this point, before I played with Rex, my Dungeon Master was a dick, right? Like, that dude tried to fuck you over left and right, did everything that he could to do it, because that was the type of Dungeon Master. But we don't have that within the network. I mean, there might be one or two guys that might try to, like, bend it a little bit, but there's nobody there that's, like, an extreme dick will try to screw you over at any point. You hit a 20, they're going to make funny stories up. Like, you picked the ogre up and threw it in the air and fucking hit it, like Babe Ruth with a baseball out to outfield. Like, they're going to do that. They're not going to be like, well, you smacked him in the head and he died. And I thought that was really cool because every story I've heard, even Mary, she said that when she tried to play, people, like, would berate her and, like, tell her she's doing things wrong. And I've never had that. Everybody is open and inviting. Everybody wants to teach you how to play the game, and everybody wants to get you in on the game. And I think that's, like, that gives credence to the RPG and what you're building. I won't even say what we're building, what you're building with the people you're bringing in here, and that's something that I think we need to talk about more. And the reason that you should get into tabletop RPGs on your off nights, if you have them, is because it's fun. It has that sense of community. It brings in people together, and it teaches you how to play another type of game.
Well, I mean, and what we're getting a lot in the community that we have is a lot of people who are just really passionate about wanting to try it or have been doing it for years. And because these are people that wanting to be part of a community, they have that mindset most of the time of they want to have fun with other people doing something social. So you don't get a whole lot of that berating. We don't have elitists. We don't have people who are insulting you if you don't know what to do, because majority of us that are running, like all of us that are running the games, those of us who are putting in the time to try and keep the community active and everything, we want to spread this passion, this joy that we have for it. We want other people to see how awesome and fun it can be and how it can be a great bonding experience with your friends. And really, and sometimes, playing competitive games, it's great. It gets the testosterone pumping when you're playing in League and you're having an awesome match and destroying the enemy nexus. That's a great feeling, but it's also a whole lot of tension. When you sit down at the D&D table, most time you're just going to relax, have some good laughs, and you might get into one of those, oh my god, this is amazing, exciting moments when everything's coming down to a single dice roll, and it's all up to fate at that point. So there's a lot more. You don't have to be good in order to have fun at the game.
Not to mention, again, talking about other games, especially with video games and whatnot, being constrained to a certain rule set or how games are supposed to play out. There's a lot of freedom and creativity in that there's way more than one way to approach a situation, and things that you can plan out something really elaborate and hope it goes for the best, and things might just go terribly, terribly wrong, or you could just, throw caution in the wind and do something crazy and it might work out. But regardless, you have to kind of think on your feet at every think on your feet at every step of the way, just because, again, like, you're not necessarily playing against the dungeon master. He's just sort of creating a scenario and your goal is to get through it. But because there's somebody on the other end that can continue to make things interesting for you, it gives you a whole lot of different ways to end up solving problems. That's what this is a giant problem solving simulator, except you get to shoot spells and swing swords around.
Since this is going to be a night of stories, sorry, Leshok, just like a problem-solving scenario. This is a good one from back when I played originally, right?
I know this story. I love it.
The story, it's stupid, but it's such a stupid story, but it's so funny because it perfectly emulates like that thing. You have that dick GM. He made a tower. He wants you to walk into the tower. He wants you to fight the monster in the tower to get to the top of the tower to fight the big baddie, right? And he's going to do everything he can, no matter what you say, to get you in that tower. And I remember Wrecker going, well, I have like stone shaping. I'm going to take the stones and the bricks that are outside the tower. I'm going to make stairs, and we're going to walk all the way around the outside of the tower up these steps to the top. And everything that was inside is negated at that point. And now the Dungeon Master has to think on his feet.
And that's a great thing about it too. It's like, as a Dungeon Master, it's a constant, improv, constant ad lib, because best laid plans are going to go completely awry. In a game that Chira and some others were in a couple months ago, I actually couldn't be there for it, so I had Santana from the LCS Rundown, who was playing with us in games. He sat in as a first-time GM in a big, scary, evil tower run, and I'd set up like all these murder rooms and everything, and what does Crazy Phil do but decide that he can break the walls?
Yep.
And by the rules, that fucker broke the walls and killed all the skeleton archers hiding behind the walls shooting for arrow slits.
Yep.
What went from a difficult, planned, amazingly like, oh no, run for your lives encounter, turned to Kolic Ironside breaking a wall and smashing skeletons.
He had a hammer that could smash basically anything that it hit, that he got in another situation where he dueled somebody who he probably shouldn't have been able to beat, but due to proper planning ended up just pulling a win out of his ass, stole the dude's hammer, and then next thing you know, all the mechanics in the tower meant nothing to him. It was wonderful.
Yeah, those are the great type of stories you're going to get by playing this. You see, if you guys are watching live, you'll see all the smiles on their faces when talking about it, because
it's a fun game.
yeah, it's just fun to play.
Well, like, even stepping outside of the idea of getting a completely different experience from something that might even be quote unquote mechanically the same. Mm-hmm. Chira is playing the exact same character build in one game that he played in another, but a completely different personality along with it. Yeah. Because you're not constrained. It's like, oh, if I'm being a fighter, I have to do this. There's a million different ways you could be a fighter.
I think that's something that's probably the hardest for a lot of new players to grasp, is that you have an alignment for your character, and you need to pick an alignment. You pick an alignment when you start, and you need to play toward what your character would do, not necessarily what you would do. Because
you basically the theme is, or at least the goal is, to pick a character. Your character should have specific strengths and weaknesses of character. Like, there are things that your character will like, or for some reason your character will just have some ridiculous hatred of gnomes. Let's just throw that out there. So when you roll into a gnome city during the very first part of your adventure that you didn't know you were going to get thrown into, but you just so happen that you got in there, and you're playing, a good character, but you hate gnomes, you might be pushing the other side of the alignment spectrum, or you might have to change the way that you act based on, the sort of the internal rules you create for your character, but you get to act out something that you create. It doesn't necessarily have to be you. It doesn't even have to be a reflection of you. It can be anything you want. If you're playing an evil character, embrace the evilness. We had Asmodai, who was playing a character named Tothiel, who was one of the biggest pain in the ass characters I've ever had to adventure with, but it was really, really solid for that character. He did a good job, even if it almost got us killed at certain
Are
situations.
you referring to the time that you guys talked to an embassy and you guys, all right, you guys should leave, and your entire group was behind that embassy needed to leave the city, and you all walked away, and Asmodai turned around and burned the building down with the people still inside.
Well, he didn't. He didn't even necessarily burn it down himself. He told one of his followers to burn it down while we were all leaving, and we didn't even know that he had planned to burn it down from the get-go. But things happen, and
let's talk
buildings
about
burned.
Dungeons & Dragons faux pas, because there are a few of them, and I think one of the biggest ones is metagaming, and I think
Yes,
it's
it's
something that
huge.
a lot of people need
biggest
to
one.
be aware of if they jump in this community, what not to do, and I'm leaving that to Leshok to talk about.
Well, it's kind of funny because if you're talking about metagaming, it's so completely different from when you're thinking about the meta with League, where it's all the outside information you can know, the better. When you're metagaming in the role-playing sense, you don't want to use information that you know. Like, say, oh, I have a copy of the Monsters Manual. That sounds like a troll. Let me turn to the page of Troll to see exactly what its stats are so I know how to fight it. But you're a character of an 8 intelligence. He doesn't know that information about a troll. What would your character know? Maybe your character just knows that he loves potatoes. I don't know.
Well, a good one for me, I think, would be you are done with a fight, and you're in fog of war, or you're at night, and your character can only see 10 feet in front of you, but Chira Jaden is 15 feet in front of you, looting a body, and he's a rogue, so he pulls a diamond out of the body. Your character would never, ever know that rogue has that diamond in their knapsack or their sack. You may have heard the GM say that happened because you're in the call or whatever it is. You're going to hear the GM has to say it out loud, but you have to forget that information.
It's as if you didn't know that information at all.
I had a question in that regard for you, Leshok.
Yes.
What I'm getting at from hearing all of this is when I did my limited amount of DMing, I was doing it all wrong. But one thing I did do is I would send secret notes to individual people playing because I didn't want common knowledge. So do you have that ability, Leshok, paranoia style? If you've ever played that.
Oh, yeah.
Where if somebody loots something, you can send them secret information like, "Hey, you found this. Don't know if you want to tell everybody that you found it, though."
Yeah, I'll
recently-
answer part of this. We had in part of our current adventure that we're doing on Tuesdays that we're actually recording. Go check us out at TForce RPG. We found a spear, and the spear would talk to anybody who held it, but nobody would know until we told them about it. But you didn't know unless Leshok sent you a message about it, because in the system that we're using in Roll20, you can actually whisper and message things, which becomes the
Excellent.
secret note of at least how we're doing this online.
And there's one thing I want to address about what Punch said. When it comes to that's a misnomer where you say you're doing it all wrong. The only wrong way to play tabletop RPGs is to not have fun doing it. It doesn't matter. Maybe you all just want to get together and make crazy statted characters and throw them at difficult statted monsters. You don't care too much about playing the character. Fine. It's like a combat simulator. If that's what you want to do and you guys all have fun doing it, awesome. Maybe you don't ever want to deal with combat and you're basically role-playing out a high-stakes political dinner conversation. If everyone's having fun with that, awesome. There is no wrong way as long as everybody's having fun.
Yeah, so what I did was I basically had very heavily scripted encounters. It was, 5 encounters or thereabouts, and then they're going to do this, and they're going to do this, and they're going to do this. And there wasn't a lot of improv. Not that they wanted to do a lot of improv, so that kind of worked. But I typically stuck to the script. And there also wasn't a lot of alignment either. So when you guys started talking about alignment, I'm like, they didn't even pick alignment. Oh, well.
Well, if
But
you
it's
think
another example, like you were
Alignments
saying,
develop a lot of the time as well.
a new way to play, or a different way to play, but not necessarily wrong so long as you're having a good time.
Yeah, there's not a wrong way. There's not tiers of ranking for Dungeons and Dragons, right? It's not like you're a bronze level role player. It's like whatever you have fun with or more. So we play the game, and one of our members of the community and regular battle arena troll, Stalker, was playing character who almost never spoke the entire time. The whole party would sit around, have these in-depth conversations about what they're going to do next. And Stalker's character just never spoke up. Either the character was supposed to be quiet or Stalker didn't want to talk. It was the least impactful character on the campaign until the second to last session, where they're at this pivotal moment and there's these two candidates for king that have been kidnapped. Stalker sneaks in there invisibly, kills the one he doesn't like, and then just leaves. out of nowhere.
All right. Decision has been made.
Yep.
See, that was his character. He didn't want to talk. He's a doer. He just does things.
That's right.
Talking is a waste of time. He probably doesn't like meetings either. Like, oh man, another 8:30. Can't take it anymore. Get the shit done.
We have a not bisexual. We have is it hermaphrodite? Is that the correct word for it? His character is both a female and a male. Like he just whatever day he feels like role playing it as, that's what he role plays as. And one of the first days he tried to hug a kobold, and the kobold took a swing at him, so we had to charge the way and push him. Like that type of shit happens. But whatever he wants to do on that particular day, he feels like doing, and it's totally open and out there. I mean, what's cool about Dungeons and Dragons, and I make a joke about this, is there's some like third party manuals and stuff for like there's like sex manuals, and there's like
the Book of Erotic Fantasies.
Yeah, and there's
that is the now.
I know there's
so
but you can do any. That's what I'm saying. You can do anything. Like you want to have sex with a gnome, and if your DM will let you do it. I mean, you can role play it out.
If there isn't a manual and people want to get creative, you can also just make shit up.
Yeah, you don't have to have the rules. Someone wants to do something there's no rule for, then, well, I guess try do this, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's all creative how your GM is and everything.
The two main rules are the rule of fun and the rule of cool. Is it fun? Is it cool? Let it happen. But also, like, one of the things when you're talking about how this is like a night of stories, a thing you'll find that when you play these games and you have a really fun experience, you will remember those stories and you'll relate them back. And I'm remembering one recent instance because it was the first Adam convinced Mary, his now fiance, to come on and play during the Extra Life stream and a random one shot that I was DMing. And you guys were trying to figure out how to get a bunch of money, and Crazy Phil was playing a character with a super low intelligence that was basically the dumbest person ever. He's like, we should make a lemonade stand. And Mary's character's like, that's a great idea. So in the game, they made a lemonade stand to try and raise money. A few days later, I get a message from Adam. That's a picture of Mary standing underneath a sign that says lemonade stand.
Yeah, lemonade for sale, 10 cents. So she's like, hey. So it's funny. You can take it out in real life. You can enjoy it. Bring your friends in. If you guys want to find that out, TrinityForceNetwork.com, tabletop RPG section at the top. Hit the About button. All the information you need is there, including the Facebook page and all that stuff. It'll be there by the end of this podcast. But still, you can sign up. They'll invite you into the Slack. We'll get you into TeamSpeak. They'll talk to you about it. They'll answer any questions you have. And something else that, like, you may be asking yourself after you've heard all this, hey, this sounds really cool, but I only have one time I can ever play this on a Saturday the 15th. Leshok.
Well, we have regular weekly games, right? And a lot of those are pretty filled up. And someone just posted the sign-up sheet in the Twitch chat. Thank you, Phil. But like one things that you put in the sign-up sheet is like, how much experience do you have? When are you available to play? And so not only do we have these regular weekly games, but twice a month, at least I myself twice a month run one-shots, which is just a one-time adventure and quick contained story, so that maybe you don't have time to a weekly commitment. But maybe on this random Saturday, we'll announce, hey, we're going to do what was most recently a Dragon Age one-shot. Before that was a Call of Cthulhu, different systems, different themes. So, yeah, maybe you'll have a regular schedule. But you can hop in, play some random thing, or get together, find other people in the community, start your own game. So I mean, we have like 7 weekly games going right now.
If you have experience and you want to DM and you just need people to fill spots, but you don't know anybody that want to play, start a game up. Get people, like, there are plenty of people that are itching to play.
There are literally 2 games going on in our community right now.
Yeah, at this moment.
At this moment. There's a Star Wars game and a Scion, which is like a modern day setting, but with like heavy mythology things in there. I know one guy is the child of the Celtic goddess of death and has a pet wolf that turns into a motorcycle.
Okay. Now, if I'm playing these one shots and I'm asking this question knowing the answer to it, and I have a character, or let's say I'm in the middle of a campaign and suddenly life hits, and I can't play. My character's not dead, but can I take that character into other games, or can I take them into a one shot and then up their stats a little bit or take them down, or whatever needs to be done?
I mean, as far as the character's personality and how you want to play them, you can do that anyway, anywhere, anyhow. And the exact stats for it, that just depends. Like, you can adjust for it based on what works with DM. Maybe your character got to level 7, but you can't play in that game anymore. And someone else is starting a game that's like level 5 or level 10 or something, and you want to join in, then the DM will help you adjust your character either up or down levels to match that. And you can still keep playing your character. Majority of the time, they'll probably let you have some of your background stories and everything, even their own little world. Like it doesn't have to stop. You can just adjust to whatever you're going to be doing next. And in ours, I run in our podcast game, I've made a custom-made world in a system that we use called Pathfinder, and I do a monthly one-shot in that world, so anyone who's made characters before can bring them back for one of those and can keep using those as time goes on. If anyone else wanted to run a game using those characters, then by all means, they're your character. Nobody else owns them.
Well, we have mentioned the TForce RPG podcast quite a bit. I think we should start rounding down the show with that. Let's talk about the TForce RPG podcast. Let's talk about, it's called It's a Long Story, a TForce Misadventure. It is a podcast that comes out bi-weekly, so twice a week. And it's a continuation of a single. I'm assuming it's a continuation of a single story, right?
Yes.
It's a single story that we started a few months ago, where we just we'll be recording episode 15 tomorrow. But because that these sessions are long, like 2.5 to 3 hours, we release them in 2 parts because podcasts are easier to digest about an hour or so at a time. But it's a continuing campaign that I've been running with these bunch of crazy motherfuckers, and it's a single story. You're getting to watch these characters start from level 1 with no experience or anything under the belt, and progress along in this story, which is currently dealt an awful lot with a civil war, rebellion, some supernatural shenanigans, and an awful lot of rolling for sexual tension.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that.
But yeah, that podcast, we call it It's a Long Story, because all these campaigns, they tend to just keep going on, and that's what I hope. We want to keep putting this out there, because the great thing about it being a single story is no matter when you come into it, you just go back to episode 1, begin listening from the beginning. It's not content that ever becomes outdated. It's like an audiobook that we're consistently writing.
Right. So tell me this. You have this campaign you're doing. You got 15 episodes, or will have 15 episodes under your belt. At what point does that story stop and a new story start? What is the mold that you guys are going to follow as we move into episode 100, episode 150, etc.?
Well, currently we're going to keep this story going as long as everyone's having fun with it.
As long as everybody's characters don't die.
As long as everyone's characters don't die. We've had a couple close calls with that one. They're not the best at making wise decisions.
We make terrible decisions.
Terrible. One time, he calculated a 1 in 400 chance. Haberdashing's character critically failed 2 rolls in a row and hit himself in the face with his own weapon and almost killed himself.
Yep, that was great.
But this particular one's meant to be a long-running campaign. Sometimes you'll have ones that run only for a few weeks. Like I was running ones that were like 6-week bursts. This one, we're going to continue this as long as the party can stay together, as long as everyone's still enjoying the story, or until they wrap up the actual story, which I have no idea how long that could be because I haven't written it out in that manner this time. I kind of want this to be able to be a long thing so people can get attached to the characters and grow them more with this particular story.
Yeah, so it's another piece of audio. If you haven't checked that out, again, TrinityForceNetwork.com. You can find them on iTunes at TForce RPG. You'll notice it because that is a big D20 with the TForce logo in the middle of it.
Arguably the best logo we got.
I think
it's gorgeous. I love it.
Well, I've been talking kind of like one of those, hey, here's what's going on in the inner workings. We're working on rebranding the network for 2016, or actually getting a brand, so we need like same color palette, same kind of like logos throughout. And as I spoke with her name is Vivian, as I spoke with her, she was like, yeah, this is the best logo. And she pushes the picture of the TForce RPG logo. She's like, I look at this and I know it's Dungeons and Dragons. I know what I'm getting into, and that's what we need to do with the rest of the logos you have in the network. And I said, yep, go for it. Make it happen.
We have this great advantage that, like, it's not like we are starting a new thing, but we're starting it within T4. So we have a lot. You're tons of support that you've given from, like, you put me in contact with someone to design that logo. We have the fan base of the League of Legends followers of the podcast, and they're like, oh, I won't play D&D. And so it's like, it's just overlap because it's just building the T-Force community. And that's, a huge advantage of helping all of this, because these are people that have already played League together, and now they're playing D&D together.
Yeah, it's people shifting from one game to the other with each other. So you get to play with your friends in something that's different and can be pretty unique because it's an experience that you'll share with them.
And then, other people's friends that they don't like playing League with because, they rage or they're not very good. They're like, oh yeah, come play Dungeons and Dragons. We can do that together.
Until they rage and they hit you in the face, and then you have an argument in real time.
I've never had that happen in the 14 years that I've been playing D&D.
Bullshit. It's bullshit, I say.
I mean, I flicked pennies at people's heads, but that's because they weren't paying attention. But, that every DM
I'm
has
so
to do
glad
something.
we're not in the same room.
Sean's probably playing Hearthstone while he's listening to you guys ramble
Dude,
on.
I'm always multitasking,
Okay.
let's be honest.
All right, the most commonly uttered phrase in every game that I've had with Cheer in is, I forgot to level up my character. Leshok, can you do it for me?
All right, little behind the scenes thing. There were probably 6 sessions in a row where I just did not level my character, and it was 15 minutes before we were playing, and I was just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Can you fix the just terrible travesty of a character sheet I did to this thing trying to do things? And he looks at it for like 2.5 minutes, and everything's good to go. So there's another reason I love Mr. Leshok here.
I am a walking rule book for Pathfinder and D&D. But
It's
when you talk
great.
about the behind the scenes things, I think one of my favorite things, and a joy that I get as a GM, we play once a week for 2 to 3 hours, right? Well, then that on our Slack, which is, if anyone's not familiar with Slack, it's a file sharing and chat program. We use that for general chat, people just shooting the shit, organizing games. Like every game has their own individual chat room. Well, in the chat group for the Tuesday game that we release as a podcast, we play 2-3 hours a week. And then they'll spend, I don't know how many untold hours in that chat discussing what they're going to do next, or what happened, or what did this mean in the last game. Because they get that invested, and you get that card like, oh, well, what if we did this?
Or we're
And-
trying to get the secrets out of each other, that the little
yeah.
snippets and special things that one person might have gotten but the other didn't. It's like, okay, what did he tell you? It's like, can't tell you. It's like,
Well, 'cause,
God
like,
damn it.
Punch was talking about like hitting secret messages. We had a recent game where they got to go to like this oracle, an avatar of the god of knowledge, and each got to ask it one question that they would get an absolute answer from. Well, they all took off their headsets when each person asked so that they wouldn't hear out of character. And then they all stood around deciding if they were going to tell each other the information that they gained.
Probably just Punch his face like, oh, this sounds pretty good. Punch kind of wants to get into some Dungeons and Dragons now, don't you?
I got a story with the secret messages too. So one of the things I did with the messages was there was a neat backpack that the group found. Just a pretty nifty backpack, and that's how I described it to them. Like that backpack's really cool. My friend Andy picks it up. He's like, "Yeah, this is a cool backpack. Yeah, you should put it on." Yeah, I think I'll do that. And then I hand him a note that says, "And you should sever those heads over there and put them in the backpack." And then he drops the backpack. He's like, "What the fuck was that?" So my friend Chris goes and picks it up. I do the same thing, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I should do that." So he grabs the heads and he puts them in the backpack. And then he opens it up, looks back in there, heads are still in there. Like, okay, this is pretty weird, but I'm just going to carry this backpack of heads around. Later on in the story, they go to sleep, wake up the next day, heads are gone, and it's full of gold. And all of a sudden, Andy's really pissed off because he lost his magical backpack.
He had a backpack. Could have a backpack full of gold. I love it.
Nobody knew where the heads went. I don't even know where the heads went.
They turned to the gold.
Clearly.
It's a head-hunting backpack.
That's great. See, I love it. I love the stories. Just like the number of tales you can bring out of these in the sense of
Things get so silly and out of control. It's wonderful.
and beer's involved. Makes it even better.
And copious amounts of
course.
alcohol.
Drinking.
Well, so that's TForce RPG. That is that is the podcast portion of TForce RPG. I know that we have had discussions about bringing other pieces of TForce RPG and bringing other new players in. So, what are your goals for TForce RPG in 2016?
Well, we currently have some people working on a informational, like educational, I guess you could say, based RPG podcast where they'll talk about things like, group dynamics, how to flush out the character's backstory, what isn't metagaming, like very instructional podcasts to get information. I myself am going to begin working on short little quick digestible video series, like what is D&D, quick 10-minute explanation, how do you play a paladin, quick little explanation, get a video series going with that. These future contents are things that we're really going to be working on, as well as continuing to expand to draw in more people, because we want to be the place where people come to have fun and play this game, because everyone here is so enjoying it, and it's such a fun community watching everybody talk. We've got in the Slack, one of our people and GMs is Carnus, always has a question of the day, and it's something always RPG related, and it gets conversation going, and people just come, tell jokes, talk about these role-playing games. We want to continue to expand this because there's a lot of people out there that want to try the game, that have never had the experience, that are afraid because they don't know how, or
they don't have people to play with because they just don't know anybody who'd be interested in playing.
Right. You know how kind of intimidating it is to go into your local gaming store, walk up in person to a group of strangers having never played this game before, and being afraid you're going to be belittled. And at least here you have the screen in the way, and you can always just log off. So our goal is just to keep.
And you have the option to sign up, so I mean, you belong there because your name is on the sign-up sheet.
Exactly, but yeah, that's our goals. Is we're going to start putting out more things to help, get some written articles and everything. Maybe develop a wiki for our little podcast world. But mostly, we're just trying to get the information out there to help teach more people how to play, make more people love this game and play with us. Because why else would you want to play anywhere else?
Right. Who else are you going to play with? So if you...
No one nearly as cool.
Yeah, that's right. No, I don't think so. If you want to play with a bunch of cool people, come out to PAX East, because that Thursday night before the PAX East starts, during that charity event, again, information and all that, forthcoming of where and what time. But we will be doing one-shot RPG sessions, RPG sessions that evening.
You can record it, whatever.
Yeah, you can record it. We'll be doing some that evening. There'll be some DMs out there playing. There'll be some League of Legends there, and you can play too. Because, again, I understand this is primarily a League of Legends podcast, but it's nice to highlight some of the other stuff that's going on, not just within the Trinity Force community, but what's going on around the web and the gaming sphere. Because there's just so much, and we all have a ton of time. Well, some of us have a ton of time to do other things than play League of Legends, I would suppose.
And sometimes you just need a break from League. As much as we all love League, it is healthy to sit back.
I took a 3-month WoW break last summer.
In the middle of the solo queue season grind, sometimes you just gotta take a break, relax, reset. Don't let the trolls get to you.
But still listen to the podcast while you're doing that, so you can stay up to date.
Always.
You don't want to fall behind.
Right.
You can only play so many consecutive hours of one thing before you just kind of need to do something to shake it up, and that's playing a lot of with your friends, high energy competitive League. It can be very, like I said, it can get
taxing.
you going. But then sometimes, you need to relax and just have a ridiculously weird and good time. And like I'm talking about, we're going to, there'll be some Drunken and Dragons one shots. I'll be there for PAX East. And last time we did that was at All Mid, and there's a video of me dancing out there now.
Yeah.
So
it's funny.
Oh, good times. But
I was just gonna break some of the cheer up, but then I lost my train of thought. See, it's gonna really piss me off now.
You'll remember it later.
No, I won't. I'll have to listen to the podcast. I'm like, I remember what I was gonna say. Oh, that's it. So, do we have anything else to talk about, Leshok? Is there anything else big and pressing and all that kind of stuff you kind of want to?
I mean, nothing big and pressing, but coming up next Sunday is when we're doing one of our, we have also a Twitch channel. I'm sorry, I'll jump channels there for a Twitch channel that we stream all of these RPG games on. So even if you don't have the time to, we put them up on. So TForce RPG has a Twitch channel that we stream the games on. There's 2 of them going right now, Star Wars and the Scion. We've got games also on Thursday that Adam plays on, and 2 on Friday, and 1 in the middle of the night Saturday that's bringing back old emo 90s feeling of Vampire the Masquerade. But we also know the one-shots. Like Sunday the 17th will be a one-shot, the Pathfinder, where it's digging up some old characters from the first time we played. On Saturday the 23rd, I'll be running a one-shot of a system called Cyberpunk, which is just basically anything you want to think of that's like a dystopian future with cybernetics and are you human, are you robot? And we're just constantly doing these things for people to try out new things, listen to it, get to know the system, and have something new to try for yourself.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that pretty much covers everything we need to know about RPG, because I mean, there's only so much we can tell you. You just need to dive in head first and try it out. Take a break from League. I know the new season's hitting, but sometimes we tell you to kind of wait for your placements a little bit anyway. Now might be the time to jump right in and try a couple games. I mean, there's never a bad time, but if you're looking for, a way to ease the anxiety of League of Legends ranked, TForce RPG might be the way to do it. So again, TrinityForceNetwork.com. Leshok, thanks for coming on tonight and talking about that, man.
No problem. And I just realized one last thing as you're talking about this. We've also got for people that are interested in learning to run their own game, I just remembered that one of our DMs, Tractor Blind, is going to be running a workshop here in the near future on teaching first-time GMs how to run a game.
Cool.
Well,
So
I'm gonna roll this podcast out with a couple of announcements because
More
I did some at the
announcements.
beginning. Well, these are some more that are for the tournament because we've been speaking about a little bit of League of Legends during this, and that we are pushing it back, or we are pushing hard in the new year to do some more tournaments. And starting on February 20th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we are doing a 5v5 best of one inter podcast tournament, meaning we are inviting Leaguecast, The Lane, Lola, and Just Okay Gamers to participate, not necessarily the hosts, but the members of the community of each of their individual communities. Now, the hosts may play as well. They're more than welcome to. You have to be Bronze 5 to Platinum 1 as of Season 5. We're going to look at your Season 5 rank to get you in there, because the new season's starting up, and a lot of those like diamond players could start down to gold or mid-platinum or whatever it is. So you can jump in, go over to bit.ly/TFN tournament to sign up. 5v5 best of one tournament on February 20th. All prizes will be supplied by Riot, so you can get a triumphant Rise skin and some RP. It's a ton of RP. It's like 4,200 RP or something silly that you can get for winning. And second place gets in third place. Again, it's best of ones. You have to show up at like 3:45 that day, and you'll sit in there as long as you're winning. And when you win, you get your prize, and you'll have your name up there, and you'll get the skin, and Riot will take care of you. As well, I have a straw poll up on the subreddit, which is /r/TForce Network, or you can go to bit.ly/TFN Discord. I want to know if you guys would rather us switch to Discord over TeamSpeak in 2016. I'm not exactly sure when the TeamSpeak server license comes up, but if you guys are not familiar with it, we do have a free-to-use TeamSpeak out there, ts.trinityforcepodcast.com. It's all, again, you can find all this information on the subreddit, Trinity Force Network. You can jump right in and start playing with people. They use it for the TForce RPG. We use it for League of Legends. I joined so many people in the chat that are like, what voice comms are we using? I didn't know we had a TeamSpeak, and so that made me bring it out. But the advantage of Discord is that it's like a Slack/voice comms hybrid, where we can have a community in there, and we can get you out of the Riot client and into a bunch of different channels to talk about stuff until Riot gets their channels and stuff fixed in the game, so that you can join the Discord client and have conversations at random, or looking for group or general chat or whatever it may be. As well, you can create dynamic links in Discord to bring people into your chat for like one-shot games. So if you're playing for 3 hours on a Saturday and you bring some people in from the TForce chat and they don't have Discord installed, they can just click that link. It goes all browser based. They join right in, they can talk, they can hear you, and then they can leave and they never have to have a client installed on a computer. So it's actually it's a really cool piece of software that we can install and use, and I honestly think it'll be better than TeamSpeak for the network, but I don't want to make a change unless there's a majority vote that people would like us to switch over to Discord. So go vote. bit.ly/TFN Discord to vote. And leave your comments either by email or on the subreddit to let us know if yes or no about Discord as well, because there might be something I'm missing about it. But from everything I've used and everything I've seen, it seems like a better alternative than TeamSpeak. That's and don't forget patreon.com/TForce Network. You guys can get Champions Select podcast. You can go sign up, $10 a month. It'll be charged on February 1st. We'll be putting out another Champions Select podcast at some point in time this month to give you guys a preview. So that's pretty much the rundown of everything that's happening in the new year on the Trinity Force Network.
Starting off,
Awesome.
hitting the ground running.
Have to. I have
Yep.
I don't do New Year's resolutions, but my resolution this year is to become more organized and to be on the ball, because I dropped the ball a couple times in 2015 at the end of the year, and I'm not going to let that happen again.
Hold on to the ball.
I've got
Just
it.
grab the ball.
It's right next to my chest. I'm gonna put it in my shirt.
Well,
All right.
I just rolled for how well you did the announcements, and you got a 20.
Oh, well, that's fine.
Hold it. No, that has to be a mistake.
Yeah.
Can you check that again?
I think we need a better
The
description.
DM never fudges the numbers to make sure that the players feel good.
Never ever.
I have. What was it? Rex said. I said, "Hey, can I loot some of these arrows off this body? Because I picked up a longbow, and I rolled a 1." He's like, "Just take 12 arrows." Instead of taking 1 arrow, it was great. So yeah, the GM never fudges numbers to
Ever.
push it on. So again, thank you, Leshok, for coming on tonight. Thanks for coming on and talking about the RPG aspect of the Trinity Force Network.
Hey, come check us out. Play with us. We're on Twitter, TForce RPG. You can find me on Twitter. You can find everything. We have a Facebook now. Check us out. Play with us. Play League with us. Play any video game with us. Play D&D with us. Trinity Force wants you. We love you.
Hell, we're playing Heroes of the Storm now. I mean, we're
We
doing
have been
everything.
playing a little bit of Heroes.
We were playing some Rocket League last night.
We
That was
did
fun.
play some Rocket League last night. We've been playing a lot of stuff.
So yeah, thanks guys for listening to this podcast. I know it wasn't about League of Legends this week, but you need to know about everything that's going on, and I think having Leshok on was a fantastic idea because it really got you guys into the mood of playing some new games. So guys, that was episode 324. 325 we're gonna be back and talking about League of Legends, but we're gonna have a patron on, and it's gonna be a fun episode. Let's put it that way. This guy, his name is Joe, and he's hilarious. He asked us how much fan fiction he should bring about League of Legends on Wednesday.
All of it.
I asked him if he had anything about Declawed or Pantheon, Declawed and Pantheon, but I have not heard anything back yet, so we will see. He's probably writing it. He's feverishly
So there's a
writing
whole
it
trilogy devoted to that.
right now. Heartseeker Strike, something.
A trilogy? Dare you say a trinity?
Whoa!
Oh, and with that, we'll leave it. That's episode 324 of the Trinity Force podcast. Guys, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you all on Wednesday and on Monday for patch 5 or 6.1 rundown. Peace!
Night.
Peace.